Hi guys, it's Uldouz and welcome to the Uldouz Show. Today I have a very special guest. Her name is Christina P and she's a stand-up comedian. She's been doing this stuff for 20 years plus. And also she has a comedy special called Mom Jeans on Netflix. And I've seen it. It's amazing. And I'm so happy to have you on the show. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh
Christina!
my God. Oh my God. Salam. Did I say it right?
Salam! Are, Kubi!
Salam. Hubi.
Kubi!
Uldouz June. I love it. I love it. I grew up in LA and I grew up amongst so many Persians. I had a lot of Persian girlfriends growing up. So I'm
Yeah.
somewhat familiar.
Oh yeah. I mean, I kind of am familiar, but I also grew up in Sweden. So like I was raised around like everything like possible that you could think of except for Swedish people.
What's the big difference between Swedish people and Americans, you think?
Well, I think they're more openly racist.
Is that good or bad? I'm not sure. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like it's kind of like it's open, like everybody knows it, but they like straight up call you like a blackhead and stuff. Like blackhead means like that you don't have blonde hair, you know? But like I mean it's kind of like
Wow.
it's part of the culture. You know, you get used to it. You're like, "Oh yeah, let's go and have kebab together." And they're like, "Okay, fuck yeah." Like they have a whole day called like November the 30th where if you're an immigrant, you're not even allowed to be out like in the streets because the
What?
skinheads they like go marching and they like might beat you up, you know? So it's like precautionary for you. And it's
Whoa.
totally legal. Like the police protect them and everything, you know? So yeah, it's that's one of the reasons why I left.
I was gonna say, but is that
Yeah.
where your parents landed? Like they must have welcomed your family in when they
Yeah.
escaped Iran, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah, so my dad fled the country when it was the whole Iran-Iraq war. He's like, screw that, I'm leaving, you know.
Yeah.
I'm fighting this stupid war, you know.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
fled, and then my dad's family were already in Sweden because the revolution already happened, and they already like, you know, got like entrance into the country or whatever you call it, you know.
Right.
They fled the country
Right.
because of that, and then my dad went, and then me and my mom we waited for our like permits and stuff, and then we went after. So like the great stuff about Sweden is like I got the opportunity to go there and I learned a lot of stuff like being there, you know. So if it wasn't for Sweden, I wouldn't even have been able to come here at all. I would have been stuck in Iran and I would have been like pretty unhappy, you know.
Oh
And
my God.
been able to
Yeah.
take bikini pictures or anything, you know, like
You
I
can't
mean
do any of that, girl. But isn't that wild? Because my parents fled from Hungary in
yeah,
1969, and the Russians had control of Hungary and they annexed all of Central and Eastern Europe, and it was the
yeah,
Eastern Bloc, right? And me too, like my life would have been so different had Canada not welcomed my parents. And then I was born in Canada. And then
yeah.
we finally came to the US in 1980. And I'm like, and I get so fired up because I'm like, I see like Americans complaining about this country. And I'm like, you got no idea, bro. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
this
it's
place is pretty okay compared to other countries. Like,
well, it's so strange because there's some countries, there's some things that progressed, and then there's other things.
yes,
Like for instance, Sweden is like they have free healthcare and you know, free schooling, which is awesome, right? So you when you pay your taxes, you're like, oh, at least I know I'm getting this, right?
yeah,
But they also tax you like crazy. So the better you
right.
do, the more they tax you, right? So here you can be anything you want. You can follow all your dreams and become anything you want, right? And you have the opportunities to make money, you know, however, you know, whatever career you want to like choose or whatnot, right? And you don't have to be afraid of giving away like 80% to taxes, you know, like the way.
Well, that's the thing is that it's not free. The healthcare is not free. It's coming out of your taxes. And so you're having the government choose your healthcare providing. It's like, well, I don't even trust them at the DMV. do you want the government picking your doctors and your schools? I'm like, no thanks. But anyway, listen, I'm not a fucking political comic, but this pandemic
I'm
changed
paying
me
like
so
800
much, you know.
I'm paying like 800 in insurance. Like how, like where can you get free insurance? I want to get the whatever crappy doctors like they got.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I don't know,
crazy.
dude. It is crazy.
In the comedy special, I saw that your dad, you were saying that he was like doing all of this complaining on the phone and everything like that.
Yes.
Like, okay, anyone that's watched the show gonna know what we're talking about. That's why you need to see it. But can you just go over it a little bit?
Yeah. It's funny because I thought for the longest time that was just an immigrant experience. Like a lot of us who have immigrant parents, like, put it this way, I could never just bring home like an American white guy to my house, because I'd always be like, yo, shit's gonna wild out. Like my dad's gonna say crazy stuff. He might start, shining his gun in front of you. You might eat like pig's knuckles and gelatin. Like, but then I found that I would talk about having toxic parents. Like when they call you on the phone and all they do is like monologue to you. They don't even ask you about your life. They just tell you how horrible their lives are. Yeah. And I was like, oh, and everybody in the audience, like a lot of people, like American people are laughing and like, oh yeah, my parents do that too. So maybe it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Of just like, oh, everything sucks. This is what's happening. How, and you're like, what? You're not even going to ask me about my life? Like I've got this pretty crazy life. I'm a comedian. It's pretty exciting. Well, and then did you hear that Eric has cancer? And you're like, oh my God, dude. Why are you telling me this shit? You're bumming me out. Is that what your parents do too? They just bum you out?
Oh my God. So I could literally have my whole world falling apart and like there's like the craziest stuff like happening in my life where it's like, oh my God, I'm in danger or something really bad is happening. And my mom is like, oh, like she just talks about herself. She's like, oh my God, my dental office, this person, the dental assistant came and they broke this tool and oh, this is so bad. I'm like, Mom, I'm in fear. I'm in danger. Oh my God. Like, and she's like, you'll be fine. And she's like focusing on the stupid stuff like that. I'm like, that's totally solvable. Like, what do I do? And she has like no interest. I'm like, can you just listen to me for 1 second instead of talking about yourself?
No, I think the generation just like they didn't have therapy. It's not like people started going into therapy until like the 80s, maybe. So we're really the first generation to kind of fix a lot of the stuff that was handed down through the generations, like a lot of us come from war-torn countries, or maybe you grew up poor or whatever the heck it is, and it traumatizes you. And then it just gets passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down. So, I wasn't even born in this country. My children are the first ones to be born here. So I want them to have not a clean slate, because that's impossible, but a cleaner slate than what I was handed. So that's why I got into therapy for like the last decade and tried to get my shit right before I had kids. Cause I was like, dude, I don't want them to go through what I went through. Like, just culturally too. Like it's such, that you're an immigrant, like even just culturally, when you speak a different language at home and then you go out into the world and everyone's different there. And even the shit that you eat at home, like, my mom would make like breaded cow brains and shit. And like, I go to my friends' houses and they would be eating like tuna casserole. And I'm like, what's tuna casserole? I've never even heard of this. So you're an alien on many levels, and then when you have like this, it's called generational trauma. I learned that in therapy. It's like it gets handed down. It's just transmitted. And especially like what you went through, like your war-torn countries. And it takes 3 generations to work out, is what they say. 3 generations.
Wow. And like you're supposed to do all this yourself in 1 generation?
No. I'm trying so hard.
What if the other person after you like drops the ball? They would be like,
I've done so much work on myself. Please.
You'll be in heaven like, oh man, all that work, 10 years.
What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Do you, because my dad, so there's the joke in my act is that my dad only wants to talk about the achievements of the Hungarian people.
Yeah.
Do Persian parents do that too? Like, you know who invented whatever salami? This is a Persian. Like, do they say that shit to you too?
Oh my god, all the time. It's like, you know who invented the first postal service? The Persians. Do you know who invented civilization? The Persians.
Civilization.
Yeah, they say we're not civilized. We're the ones who invented that fucking thing.
It's so true. And I think every race, like everyone thinks their shit's the best.
Yeah.
They're like, we contributed the most to society. But the irony, like, the Hungarians have done great things, but my dad will always bring up like the dumbest examples. Like, you know who is Hungarian? Tom Selleck. And you're like, no one gives a shit about Tom Selleck. He's an actor. Who cares? Like, it's not like Elon Musk or like, Tesla, or I don't, it's like actors. Like, I don't care. Houdini's Hungarian. I'm like, so what? Fuck about Houdini.
But that's good. I didn't even know that. I didn't know Houdini is like Hungarian. That's good knowledge to have,
I guess so. Oh my God. I guess.
You know what's so good about that when you learn stuff like that? Then, like, for instance, if I meet like a Hungarian person now, I could totally be like,
yeah,
oh, you're Hungarian. Oh, Houdini's Hungarian.
Did you know? No, like, no shit. Yeah.
Christina P. Like, yeah. Like,
yeah. Just gave you some knowledge.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It's totally usable. I could totally use that.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I could teach you that.
Right? That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So like on the show you talk about like how you're a mom and everything, and like how there's like all these like Instagram or social media moms, and they make it look so easy and it's so wonderful all the time, and you're like, oh, it sucks, and I love how you're so honest about it, because I think a lot of women are getting like shamed and stuff if they actually express about like how they feel about motherhood generally. It's not obviously easy, and then if you're actually like, oh yeah, it's not easy, it sucks, then people are like, oh my God, what is she doing? Is she a bad mom or whatever? You get all these ideas in your head about it, right? And maybe they're not even thinking that, but you're just like creating it, right? But it's so good that you're talking about it, you're making fun of it, and you're like highlighting it in such an entertaining way, and everybody's relating to it because it's so true.
Yeah.
So how was your experience with all that? Sorry. I'm just
No, I'm so excited to talk to somebody about this, because when I had my first son, my mother passed away, and not only that, she and I did not have a great relationship, as you know from the special, because she was severely mentally ill. She was schizophrenic by the time she passed, so she was really on another planet most of my childhood. So I just took my cues from like the Kardashians or from what I thought other people were doing. Okay, so I don't even know if it's society or whatnot, but I assume that it was supposed to be this wonderful thing, that motherhood is sacred. It's always said sacred, and it's the greatest joy you're ever going to have, and that I should be good at it right away because I'm a woman. That's my function. Mm-hmm. But I found it to be very, in the beginning, especially that first year, I was very lonely. I felt very isolated, and it's really tedious and difficult work. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have a mom to show me the ropes. And I was just like, gosh, this isn't the story I was sold. This is complicated. And this while I do love it, that too. Like, what the fuck is this? But while I love my children, and I'm really glad that I've had 2 kids, mm-hmm. I think we need to start getting more realistic about how we discuss motherhood, because there really is a mythology around motherhood. And it's interesting because why I love 80s moms, 70s moms, 60s moms even, is that it used to be okay to be like, get the fuck out of here, go play outside. Mommy needs a break. Get out of here. I'm going to go drink. And it was like, there was this idea that the mother could be sick of their children. that mommy could be like, I'm done, get the fuck out of here, go play in the streets. And then somewhere in the 90s, when women started to work more, I think is what happened. They got out into the workforce. And, a lot of single moms, divorce became more prevalent. Then there was a backlash towards like the working mother. And that's how mommy guilt got invented. There was no such thing as mom guilt before mothers started working. And now the narrative becomes like, well, you have to be great at working and you have to be a great mother. And that's a lot. Can't do it all.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to figure things out for myself, because I don't think you can do everything at once. I don't believe that. I think you can do some things kind of. Sometimes I'm great at mom and sometimes I'm great at work.
Yeah.
But never at the same time. This is a lie. This is what the feminist lie is, that we could do everything at the same time. It's not true.
Well, it's not humanly possible for anyone to do. I mean, for all these centuries, all these guys been going to work, and then the women have been kind of like staying at home mostly, or taking care of the kids, right? But like, if you look at the picture of it all, like back in the day, they used to like go hunting and, catching animals and, building houses from scratch and stuff like that, right? And now women are doing all of these like independent stuff, and they're working, but the men are not like doing all of the stuff that they did before, right? So it's not like back in the day where we kind of needed them to like do all these crazy things for survival. But now the women have progressed so much where they're like working full time, taking care of the kids full time, cooking and cleaning, keeping up with the house and all the chores. But then the guys are just going to work and then coming home and then playing with the kid maybe for 2 hours at night, and then contributing maybe like 50% of the income, right? So how is that equal? It's like women progress so much, but like the men are still doing the same thing. They got the still same mentality, but it's like, at the same time, they don't want it to be equal. So they're holding on to that. Because I guess if it will be equal, they will be at home with the kids too, doing just as much, and like working just as much, and then also cooking and cleaning just as much, right? But
who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? Not even the woman wants to do that.
But we're getting forced to do that on top of the kids, and then on top of the everything. So that's what's so frustrating about it. Like I'm sure you want to rather be on the road and work on your career, but now you're home with the kids.
Well, here's where it gets even more complicated, because everything you said is 100% accurate.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. Yes, you're right. So what's the alternative? First of all, my husband makes a lot more money than me.
Oh,
so
really?
It's kind of, yeah.
Well, hell yeah, just go and take massages then.
So go do the arenas. I'm going to stay home. So there's that aspect. A lot of women may have husbands that are higher earners. So then it becomes a pragmatic decision of like, okay, well then you go do that and then I'll do this.
Yeah.
But then you're right. So then how to even that out, let's say. So then the man has to pull back and work to be home more. I don't know. Are some men doing it? Maybe in this generation they are. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in everybody's home. But I think that is what would have to happen in order for things to be equal. Yeah. Is that the men would have to take more responsibility with child rearing. If I've seen it happen. I personally haven't yet, but I'm old. I don't know. Maybe this new generation. And the second thing is, I am in love with my children. I'm in love with them.
Yeah.
So staying home and being with them more than being on the road is actually kind of cool. And I'm blessed that I get to do it. So there's this weird thing that happened to me where I was so ambitious and I'm going to fucking, and then I had kids and I was like, I still love comedy. I love stand-up, but I love my kids more.
Yeah.
And right now, this is what it is. Until they're out of the woods a bit more, then I'll be here and do what I can. And you know what's great too is like the older I get and the more important my kids are, the less I give a fuck about what I say on stage. Hence the special. I don't give a fuck. You don't like it? You can suck both my tits. I don't care, because I don't have to care.
I'm sure a lot of people want to do that. They're like, fuck yeah. Do they still got milk?
No, thankfully.
A twofer, you know.
Oh, the tumor. I know. I just life is so short, and I feel for the moms that have to do everything all the time, especially the single mother. I think that is, I mean, my mom was a single mom, like meaning my parents divorced. My dad did give us child support, and like obviously I saw my dad, but
Mhm.
I mean it's tough, dude. My heart goes out to single mom because that's the toughest gig.
Did you know that 87% are mainly single moms right now?
Why?
87%. I don't know. Let's ask the guys. Like, I don't know. Like, it's 87% is single family homes, mainly based on single mothers. So obviously there's some guys in there, but that are single dads, but mostly it's single moms. So
Wow.
87%. That's crazy. What the hell is going on?
Well, do you think it has something to do, and I'm just speculating because
Mhm.
I'm not a sociologist. Is it something to do with people not wanting to be married anymore? Like that's seen as like traditional and like, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
didn't have dating apps, dude. I'm 45, so like I never did any swiping on anybody's ass. I just met my husband. I was like, you're it. So
Yeah.
is it something maybe that like there's just so many options and people aren't wanting to,
I'm
I don't know.
I'm thinking yes, maybe dating apps. I think it's the whole like hookup culture, like not ever really settling down and finding the person, and it's cool to like not have feelings and just kind of like
Hmm.
I don't know, just kind of on to the next, better and bigger. And a lot of the swiping mentality, there is a documentary about that I watched, and it's a lot of like the hookup culture and the swiping and always keeping your eye open on what's next and what's better and like just having all of your options open constantly for bigger and better, right? So instead of having that one person is constantly replacing. So I think that's maybe why. And like I don't know, it's weird, but then it's still your kid, so why not take responsibility? Like what does that have to do with the swiping part? Like you know
Yeah, I don't know. And especially states that are, against abortion, well then okay, if you're gonna not allow women to terminate the pregnancy, then we got to get the man on the hook
yeah.
for like it's two people to tango. So then are we gonna have a law that says that hey, if you knock this girl up, you're gonna be responsible? Like that would be cool. Oh,
Yeah.
if
But
you're
like
gonna do that.
are they responsible with just child support? Because I think even if you do the whole child support thing, a lot of the moms are like exhausted and just want to break, right? So you still got to like,
Yeah.
do the whole 50-50 of like taking care of the kid and all that. That's what's exhausting. It's not even the money part. The money part is the easy part. The exhausting part is actually raising a child.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And like the next hour I'm writing, I think it's about that nitty gritty too. I don't know how women of like the 1950s, or how did those women deal with this all? Like when, because in some ways we're lucky if you're a working mom,
Mhm.
I can dip out and be like, I'll see you later. You're with your daddy for a couple days. Mom's going to go tell some fart jokes. I'm going to come back and I'm going to be a happier person.
How I
But
met
those women,
you.
yeah, I know. But back in like the 50s, like how did those women deal day in, day out, 24/7? There's no breaks with kids. There's no break, and I don't know. It's a marathon, and it's a lot of it's definitely a marathon. And I've just found that it's a negotiation of needs. Like if you don't get your needs met emotionally, physically, spiritually, then you can't meet their needs, right? So if you're depleted, if mom is constantly constant, which you are as a mom,
Yeah, all the time, right? So it's like
yeah,
I'm sure all the moms are always exhausted, and then you got to work on top of that, and then like 87%, imagine, then now are you working and doing everything, but then you're also taking care of the kid all by yourself. So it's crazy.
It's crazy. And I feel like just now women are starting to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because I don't recall a dialogue ever. I mean, maybe I wasn't looking for the dialogue earlier before I had children.
Yeah.
And like I said, like we were saying, I had my babies and I was like, wait, I'm not hearing anyone else saying this shit. Like, except for Ali Wong. And I'm friends with Ali Wong, and she and I would get together with our babies and she'd be like, this shit sucks. I'm like, I know, fucking Ali, this shit sucks. And, you know, of course, she's the only other mom comic out there. So, of course, we were friends. Quickly, we're like, yeah, dude.
Did you guys like go to the park and say this, and all the actual like the moms that have like, you know, taking care of the kids and everything, and they're just like, oh, I love my kid and this is amazing all the time. I never get stressed about being a mom, you know? They're probably like, oh my God. You like this?
Perfect. Oh, Ali Wong. No. Ali and I would sit on a blanket far, far away from people so they couldn't hear us talk. But yeah, but it also culturally, yeah, there is this thing where, and I think it's a reflection of just how conscious people are generally. Maybe some people aren't even aware of like what's going on. You know, like I just know women that are like, maybe they're not so bummed out with being a mom, but maybe it's because they're not thinking about other stuff in their lives to begin with. Like maybe they're not as neurotic as I am, as like self-aware, you know, like I'm more neurotic. So I'm like, what the fuck, what's happening?
Well, I'm thinking also because you're very ambitious and, you know, you love your career and stand up, and like, I think any women that have, you know, big dreams and big goals in mind, they want to have it all, obviously, just like men have like all this time, you know? So why can't you have like the career and the dream job and the dream family and the dream guy and dream everything like the way a lot of guys have, you know, for the past centuries, like, you know? But now I think once you have the kids, then you start realizing like, wait a minute, this is a lot of work. And I thought it was going to be like the Hallmark movie where they're just like loving me, hugging me and never crying or something, you know? It's like all this stuff that I'm sure a lot of moms, they're not being told ahead of time, you know, and then you get pulled into it. And it's almost like the parents are not saying it because, especially the moms, they're not saying it because they don't want to discourage you from that, taking that option, one, and then two, they don't want to be judged as like a bad mom or something, right? And
that's the problem.
Yeah,
that nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah,
I'm not, and I think what the problem is the guilt over the bad feelings, right? It's not that we have these bad feelings about motherhood sometimes, not all the time. You're having a bad day, shit gets tough, and you're like, motherfucker, I can't believe I'm just. And then it's the guilt. Oh God, I can't believe I thought that about this perfect angel. I love my baby. I'm a horrible human, right? So you don't want to tell that other woman, I had the worst thoughts. I was such a bad mom. That's what it is. I think you're right. It's guilt. Yeah.
And like, especially now with this generation, like even yelling is like considered as like, what is it called? Like abusive? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
hilarious.
When I grew up, I was getting beaten and like all kinds of stuff, all kinds of verbal abuse, physical abuse, like, you know, but like now it's like, okay, obviously you know, like I can just imagine like nobody wants to do that. They don't want to like, you know, hit their kids and stuff like that, which is totally understandable. But like yelling, like if the kid is like about to turn off on the stove and blow up the whole place or something, you know, like you have to yell like, stop, don't do that. You know, there's gotta be something, right? But yeah, like I talked to so many like moms and everything, and they're all saying that they read so many like books, like self-help books about how to raise kids, and they're still like yelling at their kids, and then they're just like also like going to therapy and stuff, and they feel like horrible about just the yelling part, you know?
Oh, well, I mean, look, I think there's this fragility thing we're doing to our kids right now. We're turning them into a bunch of goddamn weenies because, you know, did you know that peanut allergies didn't exist before the 90s?
Yeah.
Peanut allergies were created, yeah, because the pediatricians believed that exposing the kids to peanuts would give them allergies. So they took the peanuts away from the kids. And what happened is they created the peanut allergy, which shows you that you must have exposure to difficult things in order to overcome those things and get better and stronger. We all know this. It's resilience. You have to build resilience. So listen, if that's your worst crime as a mommy, that you yell at them from time to time, you're doing a great job. I yell at my kids from time to time too. And if that's all you're doing, you're not beating them up and you're not throwing things at them or, okay, I think they're going to be just fine. They're going to be just fine. I think we need to get a little bit back to like, just they're resilient. Give them some fucking credit and stop giving out participation awards because it's pitying. Have you ever gotten a participation award?
I don't know if I got one personally, like I feel like I always got neglected.
You're like, they forgot about me.
Yeah, I was the only child and they somehow managed to
they still forgot you. I mean, but is there anything worse? I got one participation award and I hate it. I still have it framed in my closet.
What the hell is a participation award? Is it like the gold star?
Well, I wish I could find it. It's literally just an award and it's framed and it's like merit award. Like you showed up for the event that day. And it's so fucking pitying. It's like, don't pity me. I knew I didn't win. I'd rather be called a loser than be given a participation award. Because at least I know like, okay, I'm a loser. I'll show you. I'm going to get up and do this again. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I
didn't get any of that in Sweden. Like in Sweden, it was like, if you suck they'll let you know. Like we did a marathon one time and I hated running. So, everybody, came into the finish line and everything. I took a break. I got tired. I sat on like one of the rocks in the forest and everything and just took my time. Right. But I didn't know that all that time went by. And then by the time I got back, all of the teachers, they were like, oh my God, we sent out a search crew for you. We got so worried. We thought you broke a leg or something. You took so long to get back. And I was like, oh no, I was just tired. I took a break. And then everybody yelled at me and they were like, you're last, you suck. And we were so worried about you. You ruined everything. And I was like, wow.
Did it make you run?
No, like I hated running. Like it was like the end of my running career in the beginning.
Well, but that's another thing too. So like, it's okay to suck at stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay to suck. And it's okay to say like, you know what? I'm never going to run. This is not for me.
Yeah.
Rather than tell kids, oh, anybody can do everything. You fucking can't. Yeah. You can't. Not everybody is a runner. I'm not a runner either. I paint as a hobby. I'm terrible at it. I'm the worst painter in the world.
Really?
But I still do. Yeah,
can I see some?
Yeah, you want to see this? You want to see this piece of shit I'm working on? Hold on. It is so awful. Oh, hold on, sweetie.
It can't be that bad. There's like art that's selling with like one red dot in it, and they sell for like millions of dollars.
Well, that's different. That's what I thought. This is my work in progress. This is my bullshit in progress. It's a work in garbage.
Oh,
it's a landscape. Yeah. It looks like 5 pieces of dog shit swirled.
What the hell is that?
Exactly. So
that's really the worst art I've seen.
It really is the worst thing ever. But you know what? I still do it. And I'm okay sucking at it. Oh. And there's nothing wrong with sucking and acknowledging that. And this whole thing we're telling kids that everybody's special, everybody's perfect and everything. It's like, no, sometimes you're going to suck. You're going to have to deal with that. And that's okay.
So are you going to tell your kids like, no, you actually suck at this? Like, it's horrible.
No. No, but what I will say, I will not falsely, you know what I do tell them? If they're
Yeah.
not good at something, I
Yeah.
go, well, that's okay. It's not for you. Go to where you're good. And I wish someone had told me that sooner in life. If you're not good at this thing, it's okay. You don't have to be. Go find the thing you're good at and then go there. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
Yeah.
For, I'm trying to force myself to be great at stuff, but it's never going to happen. I'm not going to be an astronaut. I'm not going to be a singer. I'm not going to be millions of things. That's
I can
okay.
imagine you in space. You're like, what the hell am I doing here? This sucks.
This is the worst.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's so funny that you say that, because like, my mom was like, oh, you got to go to school. I wanted to actually be an artist. Well,
Oh, like me.
yeah.
Not like me. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I got that advice. No, but I actually like loved art and like loved painting and all that stuff. And then just anything artistic, like I always loved it, right? But then my mom was like, oh no, you got to go to school. That's not going to pay. You got to pay bills. Like you got to go to school. And so I went and got a whole like master's degree in marketing. And then when I was done, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't even what I enjoy doing. And basically I got this whole degree now in student loans for no reason. But I guess I put it in with the whole social media, like followers and people like that, but yeah, but
See, but that's it. That's the good intention is, hey, go to school, get your degree. That's what immigrants do. I dropped out of law school. My mother didn't speak to me for a year.
oh, really?
Oh yeah. But again, like go where you're good. Were you good at art? Did you have a love for art?
Yeah, I actually loved art. Like, was really passionate about it since I was like really little, and I couldn't like write like diaries and stuff because my mom would go through them all. So I would like always put it into the art. So there will be like all these paintings, they're all dramatic, and she's like,
with your mom with her head spliced open and blood coming in. She's like,
she's like, I think you should go into go to school and getting a degree instead. It's really dramatic. It's depressing.
Holy.
Yeah, so I would put it in my art, but then like, that also got messed up, from a stepdad. So yeah, it's a whole story. It's very dramatic and very like upsetting. So I don't want to
very dramatic. No, very dramatic and very upsetting. But it's what makes you and makes you unique. And what makes 5 million people love you is because of this uniqueness. And listen, if you were my kid, I would have been like, go do the art. You'll figure out how to market it. You're so smart. You could do it.
Thanks. But I think the thing is too with parents of that generation, they did it out of love, and like they obviously want you to do it. They don't want your kid to be like, ended up broke or being a loser or something like that, right? So they're just like, okay, like I know this is the safe choice and it will help her or him somehow, right? And they're also probably like, oh, this is my kid. I don't have faith in that I did a good job maybe, and they will make the right choices. So, they don't kind of trust that whole situation, which is understandable, right? So it's kind of hard to let go of like the control of like what's gonna happen and all that stuff. So they did their best, what are you gonna do? We learned the hard way.
You did. Oh my God, did we ever?
Right.
Did we ever? But thank God for this wonderful time we live in of the internet. And you can make a living whatever the hell you want. You don't have to go to school anymore. You don't have to do anything. You can sell pictures of your feet online and make a great living. So praise the internet.
Yeah, praise it. Oh, I just interviewed this 90-day fiance girl named Stephanie Mato, and she sells farts in a jar. And
yes, I read about her.
$200,000 off of it, like $200,000 from like farts in a jar. And I'm like so fascinated by that. And now she's gonna sell sheets, like it has her dog hair in it and farts and everything for like 2,000 a piece. Like it's crazy. Like what has happened? Apparently this older man that was like a bigger, heavy set guy, he sold his farts in a jar, and like now he's got like the government after him or something for not like doing it the right way. Like he
Oh,
had
okay.
to pay taxes on it, I guess. I don't know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Surprise. Well, what a country. America, what a country where you can sell your farts in a jar. This is wonderful. What a country.
You have to
Beautiful.
put that in your stand.
Actually, that was Yakov Smirnov. He is a Russian comedian, and he was around during the Cold War, and that was his tagline. He said, "What a country, what a country," in his Russian accent. It was so funny.
Yeah, that's just like the best, the farts in the jar. So what are you like working on now, and
Okay.
like where can everybody find you?
Okay. I'm at the Christina P on Instagram, ChristinaPonline.com. I'm touring, but in moderation because I am a real life mommy. YMHstudios.com for Your Mom's House. It's a podcast I do with my husband, Tom Segura, where we talk about farts and jars and cool stuff like that, like seventh grade humor. And then I do a mom podcast called Where My Mom's At, where I talk about the stuff you and I just did, which, by the way, you should totally come on that when you decide to become a mommy.
Oh, yeah. You could be like a dog mom. Yeah.
Oh, are you a dog mom? Then come on, we'll talk dog mom stuff.
Yeah, but
but come see me.
Like,
Dogs are great.
Yeah, he passed, but like we don't want to get into that now. Like
No,
no, yeah, but dog mom, yeah, future dog mom for sure.
Love it.
So okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
Not at all. You went somewhere. Where'd you go? Like
I was thinking about
stuff.
Snickers bar that I like stored.
He's like, I'm gonna have a snack after this. I ate a whole bag of M&Ms today. You ever have those days where you're just like, I can't stop eating? I had like a whole bag of chips and then M&Ms. So good.
The worst part is like losing all this weight and then getting skinny and like feeling like, yes, finally, yeah, now I can have a cheat day. And then that cheat day go on for like a month, and then you like destroy your whole diet. Like
I know. That's just what I did. That's exactly what I did. Yeah. Oh, and then one more plug. Sorry. In June, I'm doing a show. It's Amy Schumer called Parental Advisory. And it's like 5 comedians telling stories about, or just doing stand-up about parenthood. And it's me and Chris Stefano, and who else was on there? I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now. So many funny people. So that's coming out in June on Netflix as well.
Wow,
so check that
I
one
can't
out.
wait to see that. That's gonna be so cool. Everybody's
like,
it'll
be fun.
Fuck this sucks.
We're gonna stop having children. The human race stops.
I think what you're gonna do is like encourage people not to have kids.
Gosh, I hope not.
No, but
we still need humans.
They're like amazing, right? They're like the cutest things, and there's so many good moments and all that good stuff. But then there's like the bad moments that nobody talks about. That's what's so interesting about you guys sharing all this, because nobody talks about it. I think people need to know, and then people that don't know, or they do know that are parents, I think it's important for them to be able to relate to all this, because there's like nobody talking about it.
Well, and to be clear too, it's not the kids' fault. Kids are just being themselves.
Yeah.
It's the parents' reaction to what they're doing. So just be aware that like how you're feeling, how you're reacting, it's your stuff.
Yeah.
It's your childhood stuff, your issues. It's not them, it's you. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm blaming kids. Kids are just being themselves. Yeah. So it's an interesting time for parents to look inward and be like, why am I so fired up? Why am I so crazy right now? Why am I so depressed? It's really about you.
So what is the biggest like thing that you learned as a parent or being a mom?
Oh gosh, I think compassion.
Yeah.
For other people. Like I always had a lot of empathy for people, but also now for myself and for everybody. And everybody I see now, they're not just some guy or girl in the world, they're somebody's baby, you know?
Yeah.
Like I look at people when I see someone is like having a shitty day and then maybe they're mean or something, I'm like, oh, that's just somebody's baby that's having a bad day. Like they're just cranky.
Yeah.
I don't take things personally. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's like, this ain't my world. I'm just here for a minute, you know?
Yeah. And what about stand up? Like, what's the biggest like lesson or like thing that you learned? Maybe like, you know, whatever it is. So yeah, just go.
Yeah. So stand-up comedy taught me discipline that I did not have prior. It taught me to fail constantly. I think failure is a beautiful teacher. It's a better teacher than success. Like my ugly painting, like I don't care, I'm just gonna keep doing it. It doesn't discourage me. I just keep going.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, stand-up is like the greatest of all teachers because it's discipline. It's I'll get up and do it again tomorrow. I'm gonna get up and do it again tomorrow. I'm gonna figure it out. And not to take it personally. It was just a bad day. It was a bad set. Next. And to not give a fuck about what anybody thinks about you. Yeah. Not because they're dealing with their dramas. They're pushing this on you. This is their drama. It's not you.
So as far as you talking about that, like about not giving a fuck what other people think or, you know, about your set or whatever it is. So how is that doing stand up? Let's say if you talk anything about like politics or, you know, races or you know, women and men, gender kind of things, or like any kind of controversial stuff or whatever you say now, like everything is cancel culture right now. So how is that working as a comedian? And you know, obviously people are relating to it, but then also they're scared to like laugh about certain things, or they're like, whoa, I'm gonna get in trouble now, or
oh, I know.
Yeah. How is that?
Well, let me show you my face. Hold on. That's how I feel about it. This is how I feel about it.
Oh, there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because listen, if you're having a nervous breakdown, if you're that affected by a joke that a comedian told on a comedy program, something is wrong with you. Yeah. And you need to go to a therapist ASAP. That has nothing to do with me, sweetheart. You got emotional problems. And I think that's the biggest mistake with our culture right now is that I think it's lovely. I think it's lovely that we're feeling feelings now and it's important work. However, it has nothing to do with comedy. And like I said, if you're offended to the point where you're having issues, like, baby, you need help.
Yeah.
You need help. This is nothing to do with me.
Like there's so many people like always having issues now. So like the whole world is going to be in therapy, you know. Maybe they should have like on social media, it's just like a like kind of like the COVID warnings. There's like a
oh no,
it's like therapy for everyone, like have a great day. You know, like it's just a warning from the government.
The warnings. I mean look, you're from other places, like a trigger warning? Are you kidding me? When in life do I have the privilege of being warned that something's going to upset me? It just does. If I go to the grocery store and I see something upsetting, it just happens that way. I don't get a warning. So to warn people they may get triggered is the silliest thing in the world.
Well, they're for sure going to get triggered, even if they wouldn't have get triggered beforehand.
Well, yeah, it's like
already made up their mind now. Oh, I'm going to be pissed off about this thing, you know?
Yeah, it's displaced mental illness is what it is. They're mentally not okay and they're putting the blame on a comedian. It's completely insane. And the craziest part is that we gave these people power. We let them cancel people. Yeah. Which is complete insanity. And I'm hoping that this nonsense is almost over. I think it's almost over. I do. Because you look at Dave Chappelle, who Netflix stood behind, and they did not cancel Dave Chappelle. If you look at somebody like Rogan, who I've been friends with for a million years, and who I can assure you is not a racist. Okay. I've known the guy for a long time. Yeah. I think we're doing okay. I think we're done. I mean, what is there left to be offended by? Are we offended now? Are we done being offended?
What's so weird to me about the whole cancel culture is that they're so quick with canceling like celebrities and people that, they're like on media doing stuff. And obviously we're just humans. We're like, doing whatever, just having fun and working and stuff like that, right? But what's so weird is like they're not canceling people in like the justice system that are like doing really horrible things, or
Yeah.
like predators that are like raping girls and stuff. Like, why are they not getting canceled? They're the ones that definitely should be canceled. Like, nobody's saying anything about that. They're just like, oh yeah, oh, this guy said something, haha. Like, and then like this whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, like everybody's so focused on it, and I'm like, not even like, I couldn't care less. And they're getting so like riled up in this whole like thing, and everything is about cancel this person, cancel that person. And I'm just like, well, there's all these bad people doing all these horrible things behind the scenes. Why aren't you guys canceling them? They're very powerful people, but like
Good question.
Nobody's canceling them.
Well, it's not as sexy to cancel predators, is it? And I agree with you. We should round up the predators and put them in a lion cage, and then we should get tickets and get to watch them get eaten by lions, especially child predators. I think that's the next thing we should do.
I thought you were gonna say matches and just like.
He's like, oh, that's a great idea too.
Ouch. It's just very
that's a brilliant idea.
The torture is like slower. Like, my Persian is coming out.
I love it. You tell him, you get him.
No, but yeah, so yeah, that went like really dark.
But me, I'm comfortable with the dark side.
All right, good. So yeah, we gotta cancel the right people, not the wrong people.
Well, and it's sexy to cancel people who we perceive to have a perfect life. Like we kind of, we're a celebrity culture, right? America, we don't have royals, we have celebrities. So part of making celebrities is then to tear them down later. So there's a schadenfreude that comes with like watching Johnny Depp and Amber Heard suffer in a public forum because we think their lives are perfect because they're famous, rich people.
Yeah.
But then you realize like, oh no, they're just as mentally ill as anybody else. And she's doing coke in court, and he's like, he married the wrong broad. Like, they're just this toxic couple that likes to fight and fuck and fight and fuck and fight and fuck. We've all known these people, but they don't live in a trailer park. They live in mansions. Yeah. So it's sexier somehow, same thing. It's all the same shit. Same shit, different toilet, as they say.
Exactly. And I'm sure a lot of the people that are like going in on it and everything, they're just like probably engaging in that kind of behavior as well, and they're just judging the different parts, and so it's just like a never-ending cycle. But
never ending.
That's my version of like no more cancel culture.
No more, because I think America was based on celebrating winners. It used to be like, hey dude, are you a millionaire? That's awesome. Yeah. Like in the 80s it was like, yeah, achieve, go, and now it's something happened, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll go back.
Well, we'll see whatever's gonna happen. Either it's gonna get way worse and then get better, or like it's just gonna get worse altogether. And then I laugh about it. We'll see. It should be getting better. Like there is no other choice.
There is no we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, right. So I want to thank you so much for doing this with me, and if you ever need anything, I'm here. And everybody, make sure you go and follow Christina P, and make sure you check out her Netflix special, Mom Jeans. It's amazing.
Thank you.
She's getting to all the nitty gritty stuff and topics, and she's making it all fun. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. You're adorable and I adore you, and continued success, my friend. And come to Texas sometime. Come on my show.
Oh yeah, you're in Texas. Okay, cool. I'll be there. I'll be there
All
tomorrow.
right, dude.
I'm moving in.
All right.
I'm like, coming there. I'm like, okay, everybody take
Come.
care of the kids. I'll just take the nanny.
Please.
Just kidding.
Please do.
But okay, so thank you so much for doing this. It's all like, it's always weird like saying bye on these like shows.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Gotta hang up.
I know. Okay. Thank you. I love you. You're the
All right,
best. I
thank you.
appreciate you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye.
Okay.
Bye.
We'll hang up. Bye.